Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/comedy podcast network. Over 100,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to Sports
Podcast.
I am Joel Anderson.
I'm Jordan Pomaville.
And joining us, as always, is the Sports Outsider, Phil Ranta.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
That's enough announcing, I think.
Yeah. Hey, I'm trying to change it up ever so slightly.
No, you did a very good job. That was different. Not better. It was different.
Yep.
Well played.
I feel like that's what people who do modern art don't understand.
That's true. Joel, did you see any sports this week?
I did.
That's great.
Been watching all sorts of sports.
You been watching the Olympics?
No, well, not this week because they ended on Sunday.
Oh.
Oh, you just missed him again, didn't you, Phil?
I did. I just missed it. No, I actually caught some of the Olympics. I watched some of the bobsled because I heard there was Jamaican bobsledders, and I didn't see the Jamaicans.
I watched them, and it was actually kind of a bummer because I was watching them as they were doing they were in the two-man bobsled, and as they were running, the front of their visor like popped loose on the side.
Oh.
And it was one of those things where it didn't affect like the safety or anything. It was just one of those you can tell it like bothered him. He was trying to fix it right before, and the thing's going boop, boop, boop.
Oh.
He's like, and just had to run with that. And it was just one of those like, you know they had to like raise money and stuff to go. It just was one of those, oh fuck, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I imagine the Jamaican Olympic Committee maybe not pumping all that much money into their Winter Olympics program.
That's true. That's true.
Hooray.
Oh, well,
beer.
so it goes. I think I didn't actually watch a single event live from this year's Olympics. I felt pretty bad. I followed them.
You watched them
online,
dead?
but yeah.
Whoa.
Right? I watched them often in prime time or during the day. On the weekends, I think I watched them live once.
I don't have TV, and so I had to do that. I don't have cable, I should say. I still watch a lot of TV. I just have other ways of doing it. I'm a cord cutter.
Ah, you're one of them new media kids.
Yeah.
Well, see, the thing about the Olympics that that makes me sad is when you're watching them, and it's Olympics all the time.
Yeah.
When you're watching them, and you just think, oh man, this is great. There's sports on all the time.
You're
There's
not
always
watching them. They're
Olympics.
happening in some other time zone you've
Well,
never
they're
heard of.
happening when you're watching them, and you're, oh man, this is great. And then it's after 2 weeks, it's just like it's gone. And
Yeah.
you briefly think for a second, like maybe the Olympics will last forever. What if every day when I come home, NBC's telling me the latest and greatest from another part of a globe?
Like
Just-
Groundhog Day.
Yeah. Exhausted skiers going up the mountain again, just like, oh, okay. Oh, again? Oh, yeah. No, it's like, imagine if you took heroin every day for 2 weeks.
Imagine.
Yeah.
Tim Tebow, update, watch, update.
Tim Tebow, update, watch, update, brought to you by...
It does feel a rush in your mouth.
Thank God that we have Tim Tebow to fill our post-Olympics void.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Tim Tebow could return to quarterback in Denver. This comes courtesy a zany new spring football league that is the latest to have Tebow speculation.
Whoa, Denver, Mile High City.
Everyone's building Tebow on spec.
Yeah. Basically, this is what every football league does at this point.
If
If you're a marginal football league, you're not really in existence until you've offered Tim Tebow a contract.
Right. It's one of those like being recognized as a nation at the UN.
Right.
You're officially a football league when you've reached out to Tim Tebow's people.
Yeah.
This story needs a bit of a double buy-in.
Right.
It was clearly written by a Denver Post sports writer who is in desperate need of copy.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a new spring outdoor professional football league that is being created and, keyword, financed.
Oh.
Good.
It is called the A11 Football League or the A11FL,
Catchy.
which would make a great case-sensitive password if you throw in a couple of punctuation marks.
That's true. And an exclamation point. You need a character.
They will begin playing in March of 2015. Featuring teams such as the Tampa Bay Bandits,
Ooh.
the Dallas Wranglers,
Ooh.
the New Jersey Generals,
Ooh.
the Chicago Stags.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting. After
Yeah.
Alonzo
These all sound
Stag.
like gay strip joints.
And the LA Express. Yes,
There we go.
absolutely. Oh, no, also the worst name for a sports franchise ever, really shooting themselves in the foot before even getting off the ground. The Bay Area Sea Lions.
Ugh.
Which sounds like an environmental nonprofit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
with like an
absolutely.
unbelievably cute bumper sticker.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
It does not sound like a football
also,
team.
you know, Tampa Bay's already got the Buccaneers, and they opted to call themselves the Bandits. Like zero differentiation in branding there.
Well, they had a
guys.
lot of pirates back in the day.
They're
Joe.
both people who steal.
Well, I feel like you could still be a modern day bandit, where I feel like there aren't a lot of modern day Buccaneers.
You are correct about that. I still think, you know,
Well, they were
of
gonna be
all
the-
your different mascot options, you could go animal, you could go posit, you could be the Tampa Bay policeman.
I like the idea of like the Tampa Bay New Yorkers.
something.
That would be great.
Yeah. Any of these better than, I mean, you really, I'm like, oh, I went to the football game. The Buccaneers? No, the Bandits. Wait, didn't I just say that? Like, no.
Well,
it
they were
doesn't work.
originally going to go with the Tampa Bay Rapists, and they thought that this was a little softer.
Yeah.
The top
it's
leading-
definitely softer. Yeah.
The top leading candidates for the final two teams are the Michigan Panthers
Whoa.
Okay.
and the Denver Gold. So here you go. So it's one of the final candidates for the top two teams.
Again, Denver Nuggets, Denver Gold. This is not.
Okay, so that's the first buy-in.
Yeah.
Is Denver getting the Denver Gold back? Apparently, they've been around in other capacities as like a secondary football
Yeah,
team.
the NBA team that they still have and had for a long time.
And two, the article notes that Tebow's reps have already been contacted about playing in the league. Him playing in the league. So the fact that Denver might get a team and Tebow's people have been approached is clearly enough to have a speculative Tim Tebow story.
Yep.
To me, this reminds.
We've had speculative Tim Tebow stories on less.
Well, the whole like thing of like piecing this together and like if this happened, this reminds me of like fan sites online that people track every piece of news on like long gestating sequels.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
maybe Tim Tebow will play over here. Like somehow this is equivalent of like Bill Murray saying something on Letterman about Ghostbusters 3,
Right.
and then everyone being like, "Oh, that's a clue."
Pour one on the curb.
Yep, Harold
Yeah.
Ramis.
R.I.P.
Why should the A11FL be taken seriously?
They shouldn't.
What when the USFL, the WFL, the XFL, and the UFL all failed? Well, A11FL, God, that doesn't roll off the tongue. Commissioner Scott McKay has a plan.
Good.
He better.
The entire league's rules is like an NFL purge night. Everything's legal. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, that would be great.
Oh, go and see Purge Night now on DVD. The plan is not
Oh,
to
yeah.
compete with the NFL. They're going to stay a developmental league, basically like a minor league, which complements the NFL. And more importantly, they're going to play in the spring, which means it wouldn't interfere with Tebow's burgeoning career as a football analyst.
Hey, there we go.
Oh. Actually, and that is most important, the league has a partner in ESPN. They've agreed to broadcast 2 exhibition games this summer and a weekly game next year. Why is it called the A11? Unlike the NFL, there will be no numbering system. All 11 offensive players will be eligible to receive the ball depending on where they line up. All
So
our
it's not
offenses,
football.
all our offenses will be up tempo like Chip Kelly's and the Broncos. The system would appear ideal for Tebow. Quote, Commissioner Scott McKay, we would love to have Tim Tebow join our league. We have talked with his lawyer and his agent, and we have made an offer. The offer includes a piece of team ownership, which right now is worth upwards of negative $20 million.
Wow, good money.
Tim Tebow, update, watch, update.
Tim Tebow, update, watch, update. Brought to you by.
Mentos doesn't make your tongue numb.
Nope, it
We
doesn't.
should clarify that.
Yeah, it doesn't make your tongue numb. That was just the announcer they hired for that.
Right, okay.
That,
They
class,
weren't eating
that,
the
that
product.
last quote reminded me of the classic Richard Branson quote where he said, like, how do you become a millionaire? Become a billionaire and then buy an airline?
Ah.
What do we got on the show today?
We have a big interview with Will Kaczynski.
This is a stat head, right?
Yeah, this is a guy who never previously did anything involving sports, but now he's a statistician who used to work in finance, and now
This is
math
happening a lot.
nerd.
This is happening a lot in
math nerd
sports
is shifting
nowadays.
over to baseball. Yeah, so he's from the new website superbaseballstats.com. He's going to share with us some of his new analysis that he brought with his sort of fresh perspective on baseball coming from completely outside the sport.
That'll be
So we're gonna
great with
talk to
spring
him.
training
Yeah.
coming up and everything.
Yeah.
And,
We also have we've got an interview with a guy named Terry Waymuth.
The NASCAR driver?
The NASCAR
Yeah.
driver. Yeah, he's gonna be racing on March 1st at the Blue Jeans Go Green 200, presented by Cotton, the Fabric of Our Lives at the Phoenix International Raceway.
It's almost like you're reading that off a card, Phil.
Yeah, well, not off the top of my dome as I rock the microphone. And yeah, so he's going to be calling in from the racetrack as he's racing.
Oh my gosh.
That's going to be pretty. So we're going to get a chance to talk to him while he's driving around the track.
Yeah.
Presumably like the pole position thing.
Yeah.
Right, we're recording this on a Thursday, so yeah, it would be a pole position.
Yeah.
race.
He's got sponsorship. He's sponsored by Rally's, the official fast food restaurant of NASCAR. So I think he's got a pretty good chance.
That's a pretty big deal. We're
a
gonna
big
get
one.
that's gonna be interesting.
It's outstanding. We got an all new weird Sportsman.
You're goddamn right, we do.
All right.
All right.
News. Let's go.
News on the Sports podcast with Jordan, Joel, and Phil.
News. Aaron Hernandez gets solitary confinement.
Oh.
That was a strong reaction.
Well, yeah, no. What did he do? You got to do something in prison to get solitary
That was like
confinement.
a total Andrew Dice Clay reaction.
Oh! Subheadline, Hippy Dippy Taxachusetts calls it isolation, which is not as cool as solitary confinement.
Yeah.
Right.
But usually that's for people who did something wrong and the people who are like running a multinational $100 million street gang
Yeah,
out
it's
of
not
prison.
like he killed somebody. Jeez.
Well,
Well, we technically at this point do not know if he killed someone or not.
Allegedly. Yeah.
Allegedly.
Urban Meyer trained killer Aaron Hernandez is no longer a role model prisoner in Bristol County Jail. He recently had a physical altercation with another prisoner, and as a result will spend the next month in an isolated part of the jail. He'll spend 23 hours a day there and eat his meals in his cell.
Oh.
Which is total bullshit because Hernandez was practically holding court at the cool kids table every day.
I know.
I bet he
right?
would.
Yeah, so not anymore. Hernandez must also wear waist chains and leg irons when out of his cell. Previously, he had been allowed to go without handcuffs at times. Oh, and he was a good boy.
Now he's very bad. A naughty boy.
I'm not happy that there may have been a breakdown in our system, in our protocols, said Sheriff Tom Hodgson. When we have failures, the first things we look at I look at one, how did this happen? Well, Tom, your facility is full of prisoners.
Yeah. Dangerous.
And number two, how do you make sure this doesn't happen again? Let them out.
Yeah. Stop the drug war. Let him free.
We decreased violence in our prison by 100% by
And the whole
removing all
town
of the
is dead.
people in it.
Yeah, the whole town was pillars by Vikings, basically. Citing an unnamed source.
Wait, is Aaron Hernandez in an all Viking prison?
Well, I would say
I would love to see footage of this fight.
Well, it's
prisoners are the
Tampa Bay,
closest
so
thing we
yeah.
have now to what the Vikings were, I
Oh,
think.
yeah.
Or the spiritual
Yes.
sibling or ancestor. Successor? What am I looking for?
Sure.
Predecessor.
No, that'd be before.
Successor.
Yeah.
You look at our prison population now, and the first thing you think is Northern European.
Northern
right?
European
Yeah,
Vikings.
let's stop fighting about the Vikings, guys.
Citing an unnamed source close to the case, NECN.com reported Hernandez was not in handcuffs during the incident, but the other inmate involved was restrained. That is just
He tried
classic
to beat up a guy in cuffs.
SEC behavior right there.
Right.
Total SEC move.
Yeah.
Guys in handcuffs, you're not. Kick his ass.
Yeah.
Makes it easier.
Miami Marlins president David Sampson, first to be voted off Survivor.
I did read about this.
Subheadline, Marlins fans wish they could vote him off their team too.
Oh.
Whoa.
He arrived. Thank you, Andrew Dice Clay. He
You're
arrived. I loved you in Blue Jasmine.
Thank you.
He arrived in the Philippines.
Andrew Dice Clay was in Blue Jasmine.
He was
he was
he was
great.
best part in that movie.
Yeah. Yeah, the rest of the movie was kind of a downer. A little bit of a down bug.
He arrived in the Philippines wearing a blazer and khakis. It didn't take him long to alienate his castmates. Sampson was elected leader of the Brains tribe, one of the three squads,
Did people watch the Marlins last year?
One
What were the other two options?
Brawn,
They didn't have that either.
Beauty.
They had more of that than the other two. So
He was elected leader of the Brains tribe at the onset of the show, but lost support by trying to get pro poker player Garrett Adelstein, who was one of the more athletic members of the team, eliminated immediately.
The poker player was one of the more athletic members
Yeah,
of their team?
Oddly enough, just a year ago, Sampson eliminated the more athletic players on the Marlins. Sampson's crew,
Zing!
Yeah, Sampson's crew then came up woefully short in the immunity challenge, in which they had to guide a cart through an obstacle course and open treasure chests and construct a large dragon puzzle.
Sounds like it takes a lot of brawn to do that one.
Well, this is classic
puzzle.
Classic survivalist task right there.
Right, exactly. You're trapped in a desert island. The first thing you need to do is find out where the dragon puzzles are.
They're going to be in treasure boxes, treasure
Right.
cases.
Got to get them open. Got to solve those dragon puzzles.
I would look for shelter.
They cut that out of Castaway, which always bothered me.
The puzzle theory. This prompted host Jeff Probst to call it one of the worst performances out of the gate ever.
Oh.
And when Jeff Probst says that to you, it cuts to the bone.
Yeah.
Wait, Prost is the host of Survivor?
Probst.
Oh, I thought you meant the author, Prost, and I was like, that's
No.
that's an impressive career arc for that guy.
Sampson was the first contestant voted off the island following a 4-3 vote, and one abstain, which came courtesy of Toronto Blue Jays GM. In a biography released by the network in January, Sampson listed as his claim to fame getting the government in Miami to contribute over $350 million to a new ballpark during the recession. Oof. Bad choice, Sampson. Critics have called the financing plan a taxpayer ripoff, and a backlash against the deal resulted in the recall of the county mayor.
And you see, you say critics have called it that, and I think it might be a little disingenuous because when you say critics, you mean everyone.
Yeah, the majority.
Everyone is a critic of what happened in Miami.
The critics often assumes minority.
Yeah.
This was a majority opinion, so much so that they recalled
Or even
their county
like
mayor over
a
it.
plurality.
Yeah.
We're talking. I think you'd be hard pressed to
A
find
horde.
anyone.
I
Yes,
think they were
a
looking for the word horde.
It was a horde of critics.
Ravens 2013 first-round draft pick Matt Elam working mall retail.
Ooh.
What?
Subheadline: No actual sports news is in news today.
Whoa!
Thank you, Andrew.
Yeah.
Baltimore Ravens safety Matt Elam, who was the 32nd pick in the 2013 draft, is spending his offseason as a part-time sales associate working at Finish Line in a Gainesville, Florida mall.
Huh?
He works about 20 hours a week helping customers with shoes on the floor, and the article notes, occasionally stocking shelves.
Nice.
I know we all want to believe that Elam is doing this for love of the footwear. Well, we might be correct, because when asked, Elam said he wasn't sure how much he makes per hour.
Wow. Charitable.
So it's true. He's not doing it for the money. He's playing the long game. His goal actually is to open his own sports merchandise store, and he says, I just need to get retail knowledge. That's basically what I'm doing. I'm getting all of the knowledge for when it's time.
That's great.
Did you guys see the ESPN 30 for 30 on athletes going broke?
Yes.
Fascinating. Phil, pro athletes, multi-million-dollar earners, right?
Yeah.
Do you know, it's something like 60 to 70% of NBA and NFL players go broke within 3 years of retiring?
Really?
And it's like you think you hear a couple of them. It's like no, a majority of them are broke.
Those poor little
Bankrupt,
pandas, they don't know
flat
how to
broke.
manage their money.
No, that's the gist of the 30 for 30.
Oh, okay.
But there's also a lot
well,
of
I
other
saved
stuff.
myself the time I had to
I would
spend
say this.
watching
I would
it.
say this: the 30 for 30 is interesting, but wholly unsurprising in terms of the information. The whole time you're getting information, just like that seems about right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
But I mean,
That's how that would happen.
the
Yep.
core stat was surprising to me. It's not surprising that was happening to people. The fact that it was happening to a majority.
Oh
of
yeah,
people
it's
was
like
really kind
it's
of
like
shocking.
one of them's 70% and one of them's 80%.
Yeah,
wow.
It's really a lot of people.
Elam applied online to 5 stores at the mall before being hired at Finish Line a month ago. With the publicity and customer traffic the store is getting as a result, I have to think that Foot Locker and Famous Footwear feel like assholes for not taking his application seriously.
You always hire the influencer. Always.
Always. And now, this is just a few miles from University of Florida. People are coming to the store, taking pictures with them, tweeting selfies with them. A lot of publicity.
Yeah.
He made $3.7 million last season. Everyone was surprised when I started, said Elam. They were like, why? You got enough money. But it's not about the money. It's just me building. It's not about the money. The man is a footwear savant.
That's gonna be his autobiography. Matt Elam. It's not about the money.
Bo!
Thank you, Andrew.
Call me Dice Man.
Oh. Okay, joining us now.
Live via the Manziel hotline.
Live via the Manziel hotline. Put your Manziels in a man's ear.
Put your man boobs in a Manziel today.
Can we start calling man boobs Manziels?
Worth a shot.
All right, well,
but we
we'll
have
keep it.
joining us.
Terry Weymouth, NASCAR driver. Welcome to the show, Terry.
It's a pleasure to be here. I'm not supposed to be talking on my phone while I'm driving.
This is pretty exciting. You are coming to us live while going at 200 miles an hour.
Yeah, I'm getting close to 210 now because I'm gonna win this thing.
Oh man, that's
Yeah.
great, Terry. Are you on a Bluetooth at least?
I'm on a Bluetooth and the Blue Jeans Go Green 200, presented by Cotton, the fabric of our lives, at the Phoenix International Raceway.
And we understand that also you want to talk to us some. It's also presented by Rallies, the official.
Well, that's what my car is brought to you by. My car is this Rallies
Oh, I
sponsored
bet that's
car.
awesome. I bet it's all decked out in rallies, stuff, that
Yes,
checkered flag.
Official sponsored fast food restaurant in NASCAR.
Oh, is there anything else you're doing
Good.
with Rallies?
No, because it is the official fast food restaurant in NASCAR, I've been eating nothing but Rallies for the past 2 months.
Well,
Oh, wow.
Training.
Oh, I'm sure that's funny because you're probably exaggerating, but like, how many times a week would you say you go to rallies?
I would go 3 meals a day, 7 times a week, going to Rallies. In fact, inside my shotgun seat right here, I got a big Buford and cheese fries.
You're going 210 miles an hour around the track while talking on the phone
You know how
and
hot
eating.
it gets so hot inside these cars. Oh man, I'm gonna take a bite of this big Buford right now.
It's surprising you have.
Really
I guess
sounds
there's
like
no
you're
other
enjoying
cars
it.
in the track, but I think you'd be paying more attention to your driving.
No, wait, don't worry, I am paying attention, but oh man.
Are you all right, Terry? What's
No,
up,
I'm
buddy?
okay. It's just the weirdest thing happened. I've had this weird stomach bug. Seems to have hit me about 2 months ago. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna put the phone away.
Oh, Terry. Sounds like
Sounds
like some
sorry
sort of
about that.
intestinal
I can't
problem.
Pull over. Oh man.
Did you just defecate out of the window of your car?
No, I can't open the windows in these cars. Nope. Hey, you gotta go in your suit. You can't slow down. I was taking a left turn at 180.
Oh wow.
Oh man. I take a lot of left turns.
I think this
I
may
guess-
be the result of you eating so much rallies.
I almost spilled my Fanta. Because oh man.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't eat fast food 3 meals a day, Terry. I think that's maybe the moral of the story.
When you know when you get certified as the official fast food restaurant in NASCAR, you gotta know that it's good for your driving skills.
I think
Well,
that
if you
maybe
have-
it was just that Rallies paid a lot of money for that.
No, I think, look, one thing that always makes my tummy feel better is biting into these delicious Rallies barbecue wings. Hold on.
Oh man, I've
Yeah,
not
I'm gonna
tried those
suck
yet.
a couple of these dry. Oh, man, these are real.
What's the matter? Are you okay, Terry?
Oh, God. Hold on a second. Hold on. I'm going to put the phone on the gas pedal.
Should we?
Oh, sorry about that, guys. Oh, wait, round 2.
I feel like maybe we should.
This is not the NASCAR interview I thought we were
man.
getting.
Oh, what a rush.
What a
You guys
rush.
ever tried going 200 miles an hour while you have poo coming out of your orifice?
Is this
Oh,
the first
man.
time that you've had uncontrollable diarrhea while driving?
Well, no, I drove on the way to the raceway here, and you better believe that my Nissan Xterra ain't doing so good.
You obviously
man.
could have pulled over.
And then directly before that, I was in the drive-through full Rallies, and while they were handing me the food, oh man, you know how the story is. Hold on.
Right.
Hold on, I gotta get one of these onion rings. Oh, that didn't sit well neither.
I mean, if it's
Hold
going
on, I'm
through,
gonna take a drink of this here Fanta. Oh man.
this is really not good. Fanta, incidentally, one of our sponsors. I really think we
Oh
should.
man, I just got the checker flag.
All right,
Oh, yeah,
buddy.
I just
Hey.
won. I just got in pole position.
All right. Well,
You're in pole position despite
Oh, man.
crapping yourself repeatedly.
You know why? Because I reduced my body weight.
Yeah, but I mean, you didn't
Oh,
you
it
didn't
feels good to have
expel.
the car stop. You know what? Most people, when they win a race, they drink milk. Instead, I'm gonna have some of these chicken tenders and a honey
Don't
mustard
do
sauce
that.
to celebrate.
No,
I'm
don't.
a winner.
No,
I'm a winner.
you sound like
oh,
you're really
man.
fan.
No, don't hug me. Don't hug.
You're also clearly not expelling that matter from your car. I mean, basic physics would indicate that you're not going to go any faster.
I think we should wrap this up, Joel.
Yeah,
I think we may have lost Terry. Hey, Terry, thank you very much for your time. Hope you feel better, bud.
Yeah.
I'd say maybe eat a salad
Maybe
tonight
go
or
to the
something.
doctor. I don't think he needs more fiber, to be honest with you.
Maybe some nanners. Get a nanner. All right, buddy. Thank you very much.
Yeah, have a good one, Terry. Okay, joining us today, the new head statistician for it's superbaseballstats.com.
It's superbaseballstats.com.
Okay, all
Yes.
right, thank you.
Specifically, it's a site that's dedicated to stats of the baseball nature.
Yep, absolutely.
Yes.
It's Will Kaczynski.
Yeah, thank you. I failed to leave you proper time to amplify my name through your microphone.
Yeah, that is correct.
Yes.
And so we gotta say it's kind of interesting how you came to being a baseball statistician. This is your first season doing it, but you used to be a statistician employed by a financial company.
Yes, specifically, I worked for the Baltic Dry Index, which is a shipping index
Yeah. And
for shipping.
okay. And so you're
Lots
trying to
of good statistics.
Yeah,
the
Well, yeah, I'm
Baltic
sure.
Dry Index.
Wind currents, water speed,
all sorts of different stuff that you're
logistics.
putting
Yes,
in there.
water knots. Yes, there's so much.
And now you're taking a lot of that very precise mathematical knowledge and applying it to the game of baseball.
Well, specifically, I got interested because it was shifting to sports because of the. Perhaps you've heard of the sabermetrics revolution.
Oh
yeah, it's real big. A lot of people talking about that.
Since I am a real statistician, thank you. I think that I could bring some order to the way we think about this barbaric game that we call baseball.
So are you a baseball fan? Do you watch a lot of it?
I started watching a lot of it because I want to specifically be great at baseball statistics.
Okay, so but like, this season is the first season you've ever watched baseball.
Is the first time I've ever watched baseball before. I did not come from a huge sporting family,
Okay,
but we did love NPR.
sure.
We did not own a television while growing up. Yes. Growing up in a little town called Okemos, Michigan.
Oh, I'm from Okemos.
What? You're from Okemos?
I am from Okemos.
Well, we watched a lot of, we had the only TV we had was PBS, and we listened to NPR, and we would enjoy the comic musings of Garrett and
sounds like
Keillor.
a joyous childhood.
It was some would call it boring and quaint, but
yeah,
I
well,
enjoyed it.
That said, I do want to move on because it sounds like you
Yes.
have the ability to bring a real objective outsider's perspective
From
to
real
baseball and
statistics.
baseball.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, the baseball does have some statistics
already a
now,
lot, yeah.
But
Yes.
but these are going to be kind of like next level.
I've got some.
Right.
It's not just about regular things. For example, I have found a new statistic where you take hits and divide it by at-bats, and this will be called the batting percentage. And if a player with 1,000 at-bats gets 295 hits, then his batting percentage would be 29.5% specifically.
Okay,
Well,
that's
actually
that's batting average.
Yeah, that already exists. It's called
Yes, batting percentage.
No, batting average. It's been around for over 100 years.
Oh,
at
you're
this
telling
point.
me it already exists?
Absolutely.
yeah,
Well, geez, oh, Pete.
Well, it's expressed.
Jeez,
And
oh,
it's
Pete.
usually expressed as like you'd say like 295. It's expressed as a .295.
No, I
yeah,
do
they
it.
take it to the thousandths.
But
Yeah.
mine is a percent. It's 29.5%.
Okay, it's just. I mean, it already exists and it's expressed differently. And okay, well, I mean, that's,
know what?
you're not a baseball fan. We can understand.
What's
how maybe
another
you-
one?
I
What's
like
another?
expressing myself as percentages.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Well, I've got some other great statistics
Let's hear what else you got.
Specifically, I've got one where we talk about batter hits. So take any instance where a batter hits the ball.
Right.
And
Okay.
the play results in a runner scoring. I will call these runs created while hitting.
The run that came in to score when he hit the ball.
And you
Yes.
tally it for the hitter.
Specifically, that runner running in would be runs created while
right,
hitting.
right. No, I
RBI.
think we got it.
It's called runs batted in. It's already a stat. Runs batted in.
RBI. That's
Well, I guess that's shorter and more descriptive.
Yeah.
kind of rolls off the tongue. Really nice.
Yeah.
Let's talk about pitching.
Okay. All
We'll
right.
talk
yeah,
about
I'm
pitching,
sure
yes.
you've probably got some really
Yes.
interesting stuff.
Well,
to
here's
define.
a little bit of math for your craw.
Okay.
If you take the number of runs allowed without an error for every 100 innings pitched.
I'm gonna stop you right
Yes.
there, Will. There's already a stat called ERA. It's the earned run average, and it's the number of earned runs without an error per 9 innings, which is the length of like a game, and it's one that's already in use. And I feel like if you put it out of 100 innings, it'd just be hard for people to get any context out of that.
What? Powers of 10 being arbitrary? Powers of what? But
No.
it's 10 to the second power. It's the most efficient way to express yourself mathematically.
Yeah, but the games are 9
Right.
innings long.
Well, why not 10? Why don't we go by powers of 10? Specifically, almost all math of all time has been powers of 10.
Well, no, it's 9
but
innings, 3
no,
outs
it-
per inning.
It's
9
going to screw up the math, Jordan.
Did you not know that games are 9 innings long?
Well, if there were 10 innings and there were 5 outs per inning, everything could be expressed in the power of 10.
I think we should move on.
Yeah, I think we should.
I don't
I
think we're
don't
getting
think you're getting a lot of traction in making that change.
No, okay, fine. We're gonna here defense, all right? When a fielder fails to cleanly make a routine play, it's called an oopsie.
It's called an error. We
All right? And if the run scores on the play, it's called an oopsie doodle.
Kind
I'm
of like
gonna be honest with you. There's
Kinda
no.
like that.
I mean, there's no differentiation between an error and a run scoring error at this point. The oopsie doodle could stick.
Yeah, the oopsie doodle could stick.
Yeah.
I like that.
Oh,
one.
you guys are really going to enjoy the next 10-inning game that's played with 5 outs.
5
With,
outs,
full of
50
oopsie
outs.
doodles.
Be almost twice as long. The game would be at that point.
Yes. That's very good, Joel. Almost twice as long, Joel.
Well, you know, I dabble in math myself.
Oh, really? Did you learn your math in Okemos like I did?
I did.
You know, my parents were professors.
My parents were professors
What?
too.
We could be
It
twins.
seems like there's a lot of
I think-
coincidences
I think
here.
that we're, yes. I think that you and I, this is
very
the beginning
pointed
of
coincidences.
a beautiful friendship.
I think you guys should get your numbers off air.
Yeah,
That's-
and
that's
certainly
fair.
certainly
Switch
will.
numbers.
Thanks for coming on.
Yes,
Will.
you can have my 100-digit phone number.
Oh God.
I asked AT&T for it because it was a far more efficient way to express
Does
my
not
phone
sound
number.
more efficient at all.
Very much so.
I'm not calling you on that number.
My email address, which is 10111
It's fine. Thank you very much, Will.
All right, thanks for
We
coming on.
appreciate it.
All right,
Will.
thank you for having me. For you, the listeners of Sports Podcast, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. I personally recommend a wonderful book called The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. Joel saw the movie. He said that it was okay. To download your free audiobook today, go to audibletrial.com/comedy podcast network. Again, that's audibletrial.com/comedy podcast network for your free audiobook. And now it's time for another Weird Sportsman! Weird Sportsman.
What do we got this week?
This week's Weird Sportsman, Bob Knight.
Oh, like the coach from Indiana?
Maybe.
Bobby Knight.
If
That's
you're
Bobby
talking
Knight.
about Robert Montgomery Bobby Knight.
I
That-
have absolutely no idea if those are his
that,
actual.
I
first
believe
two
that's
names.
the one.
All right, he was
Okay,
born
Robert.
October 25th, 1940. He's a retired American, a basketball coach, or B-ball as we call it on the streets.
Yeah.
He's nicknamed the General. Knight won
Did people
900.
call him the general?
Oh, you bet they did.
Yeah.
Yeah. For the great low rates you can get online, you call the General and save some time. Knight won 902 NCAA Division one men's college basketball games. Most of all time at the time of his retirement. And currently third of all time behind his former player Mike Krzyzewski of Duke and Jim Boeheim of Syracuse.
That was really good. It's really good.
Thank you. He's best known as the head coach of the Indiana Hoosiers from 1971 to 2000. He also coached at Texas Tech from 2001 to 2008
In Lubbock.
and Army from 1965 to 1971.
Yeah, Coach K played for him at Army.
Oh, okay. 'Cause I was about
probably-
to say, I was like, I didn't know Coach K was an Indiana alum. But
No, he was at
yeah.
Army.
Does-
Okay.
Do you become a veteran when you play at Army? I don't know the rules.
No.
Like, once you graduate from Army, are you a veteran?
Well, usually if
No,
you
but-
graduate from Army, you're guaranteed 5 years of employment in the Army.
Yeah.
So
You gotta, like,
you're not a
officer corps or
veteran, you're
something.
active duty.
okay.
That's the deal
Wouldn't
for the free
it be
college.
funny if somebody went to veterinary school at Army? So they'd be a vet. Wouldn't that be weird? All right.
If they
moving
also
on.
played a sport, they would certainly be a weird sportsman.
Let me zip through some things. He had a playing career. Army Black Knights, Indiana Hoosiers, 1970s, 80s, 90s, dismissal, international coaching, Texas Tech Raiders, life after coaching, coaching philosophy, legacy, accomplishments, recognition, coaching tree, in the media. There's books about Knight, film and television, family and charity, criticism and controversy.
There was I assume that this is probably the biggest section in his Wikipedia page.
Yes. 1970s. It was reported, although years after the incident, that Knight choked and punched IU's longtime sports information director, Kit Klingelhofer, in the 1970s over a news release that upset the coach.
That name could not be any more likely to get punched in the face by Bobby Knight.
Kit Klingelhofer.
Hey, Coach, I can't help but criticize you. And
Shut up, nerd. I'm an Army vet. On December 7th, 1974, never forget, Indiana and Kentucky met at a regular season in Bloomington with a 98-74 Indiana win. Near the end of the game, Bob Knight went to the Kentucky bench where the official was standing to complain about a call. Before he left, Knight hit Kentucky coach Joe B. Hall in the back of the head.
He went over to complain about a call and then he hit the opposing coach?
Yep. UK's assistant coach Lynn Nance, a former FBI agent who was about 6 feet 5 inches tall,
What a
had to be
Nance.
restrained by Hall from hitting Knight. Hall later said, "It publicly humiliated me." Knight said the slap in the head was something he has done affectionately to his own players for years.
Yeah, his own
It
players.
was a fist kiss. Come on. Right? If he wants to dissolve a friendship, it's up to him, Knight blamed in the furor of Hall, noting his inimitable style. If it was meant to be malicious, I'd have blasted the fucker into the seats.
Oh, I love Bobby Knight.
Yep. 19. Then 5 years, he went dormant. He went into, as we call, Bobby Knight hibernation. Until 1979 Pan American Games in San Juan, Puerto Rico, Knight was accused of assaulting a police officer while coaching the U.S. basketball team before a practice session.
How do you even do that? How many people have ever coached a basketball team and managed to do it without assaulting a police officer?
Well, he was later convicted in absentia to a 6-month jail sentence, but extradition efforts by the Puerto Rican government were not successful. So he's supposed to have been
You
to
have
jail.
to get extradited to Puerto Rico?
I guess.
Maybe at the time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's weird.
All right, we've got a lot to get through
Yeah,
here,
let's
so
keep
I've
going.
got to keep going. I'm going to try to go through these quickly because I've got about another 40 bullet points to go through. So I'll skip around.
Yeah.
1980s, in a game in Bloomington on January 31st, 1981, between Indiana and Purdue, Hoosier star Isaiah Thomas allegedly hit Purdue guard Roosevelt Barnes, nerd, in what some critics described as a sucker punch. Video replay showed by Knight later showed Barnes had mistakenly thrown the first punch, that Thomas was merely reacting to this. When the two schools played their second game of the season at Purdue, Knight claimed a number of derisive chants was directed at him, his wife, and Indiana University. In response, Knight invited Purdue athletic director George King on his weekly television show to discuss the matter, but King declined. Therefore, in place of King, Knight brought on the show a jackass, or a male donkey, wearing a Purdue hat as a representative of Purdue. In 1980 to 81 Hoosiers
Is there
would go on
footage
to
of this
win.
somewhere? I need to watch this.
Gotta assume it is. But the Hoosiers went on to win the 1981 NCAA champion
Yeah.
after that.
Also, I mean, you'd assume if someone accused Isaiah Thomas of sucker punching somebody, he probably did.
Probably did.
What do we got next?
1980s, women's groups nationwide were outraged by Knight's comments during an April 1988 interview with Connie Chung, in which he said, "I think that if rape is inevitable, relax and enjoy it."
Oh, Bobby.
What?
Yeah.
Even in the 80s, that's awful.
Yeah.
I mean, not that it wouldn't have been awful, but even by the standards of the
I gotta wonder, what was the question that prompted that response?
Well, that's the thing. Knight's comment was in reference
Is
to
your
an
microphone
Indiana basketball game where he felt the referees were making poor calls against the Hoosiers. So he's talking about metaphorical rape.
Yeah, as
Still.
opposed to act. It's still wildly inappropriate, especially for a guy
Wildly.
working for a public university and responsible for a lot of young men. That's not okay.
What do we got next?
1990s. In March 1992, prior to an NCAA regional finals, controversy erupted after Knight playfully mock-whipped Indiana players Kelbert Cheney and Pat Graham during practice. The bullwhip had been given to Knight as a gift from his team. Several black leaders complained at the racial connotations of the act, as Cheney is black.
I mean,
Just shouldn't be using a bullwhip on
yeah,
players. I think
you really
this.
shouldn't. I mean, if it was a gift, I could see how this might not be Bobby Knight's fault. If it was like a gift from his team and it was playful and it wasn't like a connotation. I mean, it was mostly just him being a.
I still think you can't whip a player. I think if it was a white player, I'd have the same problem.
Yeah,
Don't whip your players.
But he was playfully doing it. He wasn't actually whipping his players.
But unless it was a foam bullwhip, I'm sure it still hurt.
In the 2000s, there's 10 incidents, so I'll kind of jump around here.
These are getting to the ones that I do specifically remember
Yeah.
at this point.
Oh yeah.
In February 19th, 2000, never forget, Clarence Donninger, Knight's boss, alleged to have been physically threatened by the coach at a confrontation of the game. It was also a legend that Knight attacked assistant coach Rod Feeling, throwing him into a chair after overhearing the criticizing of the basketball program in a phone
You
conversation.
have at this point skipped over probably the most prominent Bobby Knight incident ever.
I've skipped a lot.
when he threw the chair out into the court.
Sure.
Well, I think he did that a couple times though.
Oh, did he
Yeah.
really? Okay, moving on.
In March 2006, the students heckling at Baylor University resulted in Knight having to be restrained by a police officer. The incident was not severe enough to warrant any action from the Big 12 Conference. On October 21st, 2007, James Simpson of Lubbock, Texas, accused Knight of firing a shotgun in his direction after he yelled at Knight and another man for hunting too close to his home. Knight denied the allegations. The argument between the two men was recorded via camera phone and later aired on television. All right.
great.
I
I
hate to
remember
say it.
that.
I've gone through maybe a third of them, and we're out of time.
Oh,
He choked a kid. Remember that?
yeah, that's why he got fired.
There's a
from
couple
Indiana.
of chokings on
He
here. that I
shot a
skipped.
friend in a hunting accident. I remember this because
It's different than this one.
Oh yeah, the folks at the Breslin Center were gonna wear all like bright orange and camo in the Izzone until Tom Izzo specifically ordered them not to. Yeah,
What a guy.
What a guy, Bobby Knight, weird sportsman indeed.
And that brings an end of another Weird Sportsman!
Citizens of Podcast Town, this brings to the end another sports
Sports.
podcast. But before we go, an exhausted but playing through Phil Ranta will give you our contact information.
You can email us at sportspodcast@gmail.com. That's sportspodcast@gmail.com. You can tweet at us at sports3podcast. That's at sports3podcast. You can find us on Facebook by searching Sports Podcast. You'll top our thingy. You can find us on Stitcher Radio. Download the Stitcher app at stitcher.com and search Sports Podcast. You can find us on YouTube by going to youtube.com/comedypodnet. That's youtube.com/comedypodnet. When you're there, please subscribe, leave us a little comment, love. You can find us on iTunes by searching Sports 3 Space Podcast. That's Sports 3, all one word, Space Podcast. And while you're there, please rate and review. Or for all of our back episodes, go to comedypodcastnetwork.com.
Hey guys, Will Kaczynski left us a card. He must have really liked being on the show.
Oh,
So I got
was
an
nice.
inscription. You want me to read it for you?
Yeah, read it.
yeah.
1110010011110.
No, let's go
What
to
a
rallies.
jerk.
Let's go to rallies.
Yeah.
Lights off.
You have received this transmission from the Comedy Podcast Network. For more shows, visit comedypodcastnetwork.com.